Good evening, everyone. This is Adonis Banegas. I'm the Executive Director of Concilio. We're here tonight bringing you Concilio Presents Socially Connected, our year-end review. We have a great show lined up tonight. I would like to introduce our Deputy Director, Ms. Janessa Rivera. How are you doing tonight, Janessa?
Good evening. I was so excited to see all the events that we've done this year that kicked off the show. Wow, how many events did we do, right? The year flew on by.
You know, Concilio has historically been known for putting together some of the city's biggest Latino events. And 2020 gave us a 1-2 punch and shut us down like many other nonprofits. But we continue to strive forward. We continue to offer a wide variety of programming and cultural events, even though they were a little bit different this year. And that video really did highlight some of the things that we did. And Janessa, you joined us at the end of the summer. So tell us a little bit about what your experience has been post-COVID and during quarantine and still running a programs with all of us here.
Wow, I started in August, and honestly, if this is the slow season, I really have to get my running shoes for when COVID goes away and gets us up to speed, because I mean, it hasn't been slow, right? For me, we've done at least 4 or 5 events. We are now the masters of the drive-through. Like, we are the new McDonald's. We are like the nonprofit McDonald's when it comes to drive-through. We probably could give Chick-fil-A a run for their money on how we set up drive-through events. So, you know, we've done a lot. To be honest with you, sometimes it feels like we're in a pandemic when we have these barriers on what are we going to do with our programs. But the staff and admin are such problem solvers that sometimes it doesn't even feel like we're in a pandemic, because we continue to serve the community. We're giving them the needs. You know, we're still having these events. I mean, I know they saw pictures of myself and you were out there planting trees. So we're doing a little bit of everything, because we know, despite it being a pandemic, our community is still living and breathing and thriving and needing, and we are there to assist. We are the hub, and so we have to continue to be the hub even during these uncertain times. So for me, it's been amazing. You know, I love working with the community. Definitely, Concilio does that. You know, they're always with the community, so it's like being part of a new family. You know, I'm from Jersey. I'm on the other side of the bridge. So now I am visiting my extended family. It's like going over to your aunt's house for the summer and being like the honorary, you know, sibling. I feel like now I'm an honorary North Philly resident, right? Because I've been going to all the events. So it's been really, really good for me.
Yeah, and it's great that you highlight being the extended family, because Concilio, for many of us, has been that staple in the community for many, many years. I was just recently talking to one of our partners, and in 2022, we'll be celebrating 60 years as a nonprofit organization, offering a wide variety of community services, initially built for the Puerto Rican community and meeting those needs. But through the years, we've evolved, we've changed. We've been able to offer everything from foster care to adoptions to our after school and summer programming. And then when the pandemic hit, we jumped right on board and became a community access center, which the city of Philadelphia brought to our kids, where they had nowhere else to go. And we, like many other nonprofits, stepped up and said, we have a space. We want to make sure our kids are safe. And we welcomed them in with open doors, not only in our North Philly office, but also on an extended site in Distant Rec Center in the Northeast. And I think that's what really makes Concilio different, that whenever something is something that's difficult that we need to deal with, before we even know what we're going to do, we raise our hands and we say, here, present it. And that's one of the best things about working at Concilio and being fortunate enough to work with some amazing staff. Even though we've been shut down since March in the office, everybody has been going above and beyond to make sure that our community still gets the needed information, the needed resources, but also all the clients that we work with are still connected with us one way or another. And being able to now be on this show, which we created a few months ago, is just another extension for us to share information, share resources, and talk about what we're doing, because it doesn't stop. The need doesn't stop. Resources are still needed. And some of our programs are one of the most difficult things to do. And we're still here. We're still presentes. So I am very happy that we're here celebrating tonight. I see a lot of happy holiday messages going on. And I definitely want to extend that to everybody watching and extending it. So we're just going to jump off. And we have two amazing people joining us today. During this pandemic, we've had a lot of transitions. And one of them being our board president, Mr. Tony Valdes, has been with Concilio for over 15 years as the board president. And he felt confident and supportive enough that he had a strong team within the admin team of Concilio, but also within the board, that he has decided to step away as board president. But we cannot let this year end without having him join us today. And at this point, I'd love to welcome Mr. Tony Valdes. How are you, sir?
Felicidades, Philadelphia. I'm doing great. Like everybody else, hanging in there with the challenges with COVID, but I'm doing okay.
Now,
that's awesome.
You have been board president for, we like to say 15 years. It might be a little bit longer. Tell us a little bit about what got you into being the board president and why did you stay so long?
Wow, that's a long answer. So I'm going to keep it short. So I got involved. A colleague of mine that had worked with me before at a previous job was the board president of Concilio at that time, and he recruited me. So that's how I got involved. And then a couple years into being at Concilio on the board, he asked me if I would be willing, because he was going to step down as president, if I would be willing to take on that role. So I was nominated and got the position. Why I've stuck around? I've stuck around because there's a lot of reasons I've stuck around. Obviously, I care a great deal about what Concilio represents, the services, the programs, the events, the role it plays as a community leader, and the way that so many people in the community care about what happens at Concilio. And Janessa, I don't know if you've heard this story before, but when I first got the position as president, I went out one night to have a bite to eat in North Philly. It was only a couple nights after the vote had happened, and there had been no press release or anything. And when I sat down, people started coming up to me that were in the restaurant to congratulate me. People I didn't know that were coming up to say, hi, Lee. People are coming up to say hi to me. And also, but not only come over to congratulate me, but also to tell me what they wanted Concilio to do, and I was just impressed, and just with the amount of passion and how much people care about Concilio, and for all the great things that we do as an organization. I can't get out of my head the image of people telling me about how they used to go down to the parade and would be as a little kid and be on their grandfather's shoulders watching the Puerto Rican parade. And that image will never be lost on me, because that story has been told to me so many different times.
As you say that, it's funny, because it was only until, I was interviewing for the position and you do your background work where I put two and two together. My parents were notorious for taking us to the parades, desfile, if my dad is watching, God forbid I say parada, right? So the Puerto Rican parades and festivals all over, like tri-state area. That's all we really did. That was like our thing. And as an adult, I'm like, wow, all the time we were going to Philly to go to their things. All these years, I was going to a Concilio event and never even knew, right? Never even knew until I got older. But if I can just ask you a couple of questions, 15 for a Latina is huge, right? That's like Sweet 15, quinceañera. So you've done at least 15 years with the agency, which is like a big milestone. So what would you say out of those 15 years was one of your, or maybe a couple, fondest memories of working and being associated with the agency?
I would tell you that there's a lot of great moments and really important successes, and I'm really proud of Joanna and Adonis in terms of like the progression that we made as an organization. But I have to tell you, the thing that I'll always remember, and I plan on keep doing it, because I'm staying on the board, is the most fun is Hispanic Fiesta. And I have to tell you, it's an amazing couple days. You have thousands of people coming from not only from Philadelphia, but from surrounding community, Latinos and tourists who are curious about who we are, and other ethnic groups who want to learn more about what the Latino community is about. It's just an amazing event. I just feel a huge connection, and I have a lot of fun with board members and staff, just talking and meeting people and walking around to all the different tables and interacting with all the visitors who are there. It's a pretty special weekend, and I'll forever want to be part of that weekend.
We will forever make sure you have a ticket.
Exactly. And you always got a volunteer shirt too. Hispanic Fiesta notably is one of the largest Latino events, not only in Philadelphia, but in the tri-state area. At our peak, we were seeing over 40,000 individuals over the 2-day span. And it just was a great way to bring together our culture, the music, the food, the ambiance, and just kind of a melting pot of all Latino cultures. What is one thing I guess you would say is the big takeaway from being behind the scenes of Hispanic Fiesta and knowing all the work that goes into it and seeing kind of the end product? Yeah.
Well, I had attended Hispanic Fiesta before I ever was involved. And so it's really everything. It's like a fine-tuned machine. You're very impressed with how everything's going, the music, the bands, the food, everything about it seems to be really well organized. And then when you're in it, it's overwhelmingly impressive how many moving parts go on in this thing. And so I'm never going to forget how much work the staff at Concilio are doing behind the scenes, because this is all staff people doing really volunteering. There are many other volunteers that are part of it as well, and it would be wrong for me not to thank everybody who's volunteering. There are community volunteers supporting the fiesta, but the amazing amount of work that's being done by both of those is just incredible, because I think it's hard to appreciate the effort that people are putting in and the hours that they put in to make sure the Hispanic Fiesta goes on. And these aren't hours people are being paid for. They're all really volunteering this time. So it's quite impressive. So I think I'll never forget how much work goes into it and who does it. People, volunteers.
Thank you. One of my earliest memories is me holding my Honduran flag at 8 years old next to the water. And a couple years ago, I posted that picture, and it just shows that this is a generational event, a generational nonprofit agency, and that's what we strive for, to make sure that we continue that legacy moving forward. And even though we have a hiccup this year, and we're already in full plans about what we're going to do next year, this is a true staple of Philadelphia and the Latino community. So it's definitely been an honor and a pleasure for you to not only be involved in the program side, but the cultural side, which is what Concilio has historically been known from. And that's something we're going to continue to push for the next 60 years. And hopefully you'll be around just as long. So at this point, we want to bring along our new board president. And Tony, I would love for you to introduce her, since you were with me when we brought Miss Priscilla on a few years ago.
Yeah, so very proud to bring on Priscilla Jimenez as our new board president. She is dynamic, energetic, and really, really smart. And we're really, really excited and proud that she's agreed to take this role on. I think I'll speak for her. I think she's really proud and excited about it too. So welcome, Priscilla.
Welcome. Can't hear you.
You hear me now?
All good.
Okay. I was just saying thanks, guys. That was a lovely welcome and very gracious of you. And I am truly thrilled to be with all of you here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to our end of the year review, right? As you kind of get the virtual baton passed off from Tony to you, and you're going to kick us up into 2021. So
Yeah.
I would ask you the same thing, right? Hopefully you get to stay with us as long, if not longer than Tony, and then you could have all these great stories that we could share along. But I know you have been with the board for some time, even though you weren't in the position of president. What about you? What would you say one of your fondest memories of the agency in this year, in such a different year for us, but during this year, 2020, what would be one of your most fondest memories?
It sounds weird, but I came out when the COVID mobile testing units were out, and it was really nice to see that Concilio was leading the charge in this important effort and getting people rapidly tested, getting results out quickly. So that's actually one of my favorite memories of this year, because I feel like we're really doing things in the community that matter in a really timely fashion. And I was really happy to be a part of that.
Yeah, I agree. It was a really good turnout. And I would say, as being one of the newer, employees with the agency, we definitely are the voice of the community, but I would say it's because the community keeps us on our toes. They hold us accountable to make sure that we speak for them. So I think to say, for, using that event as an example, they really look forward to sharing their opinions and their voices when we have events or when we have dialogue with them. And that's because, from what I've seen, we have made it comfortable. We have made our location, whether it's where we currently are or where we were before, or whenever we're anywhere at an event, we've made it comfortable, not only our staff, but the engagement that we do, the ongoing support, for them to talk to us, ask us questions, and tell us that what their ongoing needs are. So I agree with you. That event was like a really big event for us. And hopefully, in the future, we could have additional sites and dates where we can continue to do testing for the community, because I feel as though like they're comfortable with us, right? So yeah. we're like their big cousins. They're comfortable with us, and that's something that I think is really important, especially during a time of uncertainty, that we could provide that to the community.
Agreed.
So,
And
Priscilla, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I agree. I'm looking forward to that.
You have been part of the Philadelphia community for several years. You're an attorney by trade, past president of the Hispanic Bar Association. What about Concilio drew you to not at first joining and being a board member, but then eventually agreeing and signing off to being the board president, even though Tony and I forced you a little bit, but you still decided to say yes and join us. So what was it about being a part of Concilio that drew you to us?
So I was really excited to be a part of this organization that had been around for decades, really serving the needs of the community. And I wanted to be involved and present. And one of the things that really drew me to Concilio first was the board members were very welcoming. They sold the organization amazingly to me. So I was like, oh, sign me up. I totally want to be a part of this. But another fun fact is one of our board members went to school with my mom in the Bronx in New York.
Wow.
So we
cool.
And we're like, what a small world. And now her daughter and I are really close friends. So I just felt like it was kismet. It was meant to be. And it was a very easy transition. And the Concilio team, the board, the staff, everyone, it's like a nice family. So I was thrilled to be, taking an even bigger role moving forward.
Awesome. I mean, that's not a coincidence, right? It was the universe. The stars lined up the right way for that to happen. I would say that's so cool.
Yeah.
So now that we have our former past president and our recent president, we thought we'd put you on the spot and ask you some Concilio historical questions.
Oh,
so,
no.
You want to kick it off with the
Yes.
first one?
I think it would only be fair to do a little bit of a round robin, right? To see who could answer the quickest, put your hands up the quickest, right? So it's like the battle of the rookie and the vet. So I'm just saying the people are watching. The people are watching, okay?
Okay.
We're both, I know we're both highly competitive.
We are.
Well, there's only one winner today. So may the best president win, right? We're going to start off easy. I'm going to start it off. Okay. And we're going to start off easy. So I'm sure both of you guys know this. But now it's about not just the knowledge, but the skill of the hand raise, okay?
Okay.
Now, okay, so you ready? And Adonis and I are both going to try to judge to see who went, whose hand was up fastest. When was Concilio founded?
Oh,
that was like Tony by a split hair.
Yeah,
right?
Tony, yeah.
So you gave it away earlier, during the presentation.
I did.
No. Adonis said in 2022 it would be 60 years.
Oh, he did.
That would be 1962.
There you go.
What
Just
a way to
making sure
use
you're paying
context
attention.
clues. What a way to use context clues. Okay.
All right. So now I'll ask the next question. Concilio moved 5 years ago to where we're currently located at 141 East Hunting Park. But prior to that, we were located in another intersection for 35 years. Can you tell me what that intersection was?
Anybody?
I feel like this is a Tony question.
Okay, Tony. 2 for 2.
I spent a lot of time in that office, so I know it. I know the address is something a little different, but I know it is 7th and Fairmount.
Okay. I think we'll give it to you.
I think it's the front street that the address was actually on, which was Franklin.
Okay. The judges are saying it's a go. We're gonna let you go. The judges are saying it's a go. Okay. So, what are two?
If you grew up in Philly, Go ahead.
Right. So I would say we just had a reel of tons of events that we did this year alone, right? But what are two major? Once again, did you listen to your context clues from earlier? What are two major Latino events that Concilio are known for hosting? A little girl like me from New Jersey always would come to.
I could do this one. Hispanic Fiesta and the Puerto Rican Day Parade.
And the parade, yes, for sure.
All right, as we come down to our final question of the day, can you name 3 programs that Concilio currently offers?
Yeah, okay, that was quick. She knows, she studied.
I could do that one. Victim services. We do foster care and we do adoptions.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
And Adonis.
I would say it's even.
I think a tie works. The tie works.
Do we need a tiebreaker?
So, well, do we need a tiebreaker?
I think a tie is good.
I was just going to say that shows, because I said let the best president win, that we have 2 of the best presidents, so they both won. That's what I was gonna say. Right? We're going from great to great.
I like it.
This has been a quick show because we only do it for half an hour. We got to keep people's attention span. But as we wrap up, we want to put in one word, which is very difficult to do. But if you can encapsulate what Concilio means to you in one word, what would that be? And we'll let each one of the presidents say something.
One word, huh? I would say for me, hope. And the reason is I think we bring a lot of hope for the community. We have a family environment and hope for the future generation.
Good. You prep this.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And I'm gonna add to that. I'm gonna say familia, and I think this happens at a lot of levels at Concilio. I mean, Priscilla mentioned earlier how, as a board, how we've become with each other, right? Some of us just met on the board. And I think that's a lot that's true for everything. Is the way we connect to the community. It's the way the organization connects. It's people. I love that the people feel like they own Concilio. The community feels like they own Concilio. It belongs to them. I think that's a really beautiful thing, and I think the concept of familia is really, really important to me, and what Concilio means in my life.
Thank you.
What about you, Janessa? What's your one word?
My one word is resilience. And I would say because the agency is small, but we fight hard. So it was a tough year. I came in and I've seen the background work. The year was hard for the agency. The agency has gone through, the more that I hear, resilience in changing programs, resilience in funding, resilience in, going through community issues and things internally. So definitely we are resilient. And not only are we resilient internally, but we're externally. We have to be strong and hard to help our community, which means even though our backs are up against the wall, we still are out there fighting for our community because that's the only thing we know how to do. So definitely resilience.
Thank you. And my word will be legacy. The history of this agency streams 60 years almost. And the fact that we were the only agency that kicked off, the Latino push in the city of Philadelphia so many years ago is a strong reflection of what was needed at the time. But the fact that a nonprofit has been able to stay open for so long speaks volumes of the people that have worked there, leadership, but also the community buying into what we were doing. That's something that I'm always going to be grateful for. That's something that I'm always going to be passionate and appreciative for being in this position that I'm in now. And when I leave, whenever that is, I'm just making sure that I'm leaving in a better place than when I came into it. And that's one of the biggest things I can strive for, to continue this legacy for my kids, for their kids, and so on in the city of Philadelphia.
That should be our new slogan: hope, familia, resilience, and legacy. Let's get hard. That's like the thing. Put that on a shirt, on totes. Like
that's a t-shirt.
2021. That is totally a t-shirt. That's the next commercial. That's how we're opening up Socially Connected from now on. I know I want to say thank you guys for coming on. Like Adonis said, our show is short and sweet, but we know that we had such a crazy year, but a productive year, right? And we wanted to try to put as much of it in a slide. And really, like I said, pass the baton. Tony definitely has been a staple in the community and the agency. We know that Priscilla comes with high regards, and even, Tony always giving good information and just high compliments of Priscilla. So I know we're going to be at a great start for 2021. And so I appreciate you guys being part of the show. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I am so happy that we're able to end off the year on such a good note with all the great programs, all the events that we saw earlier. Only 3 of those were done before the pandemic. All those other pictures were done after, right? So only 3 events. The rest of the 257 that it feels like all happened after the fact. So, I'm glad for us to close it up that way. Those are my final words. And if you see the shirts out there, we're going to hashtag it, right? We're going to have some new swag, some new merch, some Concilio merch with our words from today.
Yeah. And as we jump into 2021, we want to be hopeful of change and hopeful of progress. We continue to plan. We continue to work hard for our community and for our staff. And that's something that's never going to go away, regardless of whatever challenges may come towards our way. And 2020 was a challenge. But we're looking forward to 2021 and all the great things that will happen. So I specifically want to thank you, Tony, for everything that you've done, your leadership, mentorship. And I want to welcome Priscilla for everything that we're going to do moving forward. And just looking forward to a great 2021. Keep an eye on Concilio because we are moving, we're making things happen, and we want you to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy
Now,
holidays.
we're going to just be showing a clip of some of the events that we're going to have coming up and, you know, just some of the things that are going on until we close out the rest of the year formally. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.